Hello out there YouTube, this is KJ4APS and I'm going to demonstrate something that I recently built on a kind of assisted server to not another craft. It's a little whitelisted Feed the Beast server. Due to Feed the Beast not having grief protections in the manner that we're familiar to in vanilla and in Bucket, it's not really practical to run a non-whitelisted Feed the Beast server because it usually involves bad griefing, and you need to get to a certain point in the game where you can actually protect yourself, you know. So this over here is our Wither Battle Arena. This was created mostly in creative mode, mainly because it is not appropriate for it to fail, though it could easily be created in survival, with the exception of the fact that the same infinite energy source, which is keeping the Nexus safe from the wisps that have been spawning here, or because there's a dark node down there encased in bedrock, but somehow they're still getting out, and there's probably another one, is also powering the force field systems here. So what I've got here, and I'm going to go out of creative here, got myself a potion of regen, parts of wither, witherless rose. This I actually got from uncrafting a portal gun with yield on crafting table to get the first nether star. And there's a recipe in Xeno's Reliquary, which is installed in our pack, that lets us duplicate the wither star. You know, if we look in, it's not the wither star, it's the nether star. So if we take a look at this, you can see that we can actually duplicate a nether star with a diamond, 3 wither skulls, and glowing light, as long as we have the Tome of Outcast, which is not consumed, which it contains a lot of nether items. Is a little weird looking, but isn't too hard to make. So first of all, we got just a safety chest. Throw your stuff in here so you don't die terribly. So in the event you die terribly. So the witherless rose really shouldn't help me too much. I don't remember if the wither actually inflicts wither. I don't think it does. I think it just tries to pull you. Got a potion of regen. It's always nice. It's only for 45 seconds, but it's good if we start to die. So we've got a computer here. This is just a monitor. It's connected with a bus transceiver. The computer that's attached to this cannot actually affect the state of these machines. So we're going to run through it, and then I'm going to jump back into creative, and I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of the mechanisms that make this thing work. So, but wither parts here. So we just throw it in there. You'll notice that it takes a little bit because there are some mechanical things that have to happen. So we can please wait. Turtle comes out. The turtle will build all but one block of the wither. And here's a remote. So if you read here, it says press remote, step aside, press remote, press again to give up. So I'm going to press the remote. It's going to form the remote and get the heck out of here. This force field is the only thing that's admin here. It protects... Oh yeah, that is going to drain. Whenever we keep moving, its explosion won't hurt me too badly. This is we legitimately obtained one hell of a sword. Thaumium stop. Where'd the wither star go? Where'd it go? There it is. Thaumium can hold enchantments. Enchantments are a whole lot cheaper. So when we're done, press the button. You know, Scab over there took a half-hearted damage from the MFFS defense station cycling up, which is in kill mobs mode. So I'm going to go fly around and give a quick tour of the actual guts that make this work. We also have an additional panic button here, so if you die and you can't find your, but you can't find your remote because you're dead terribly, you can push this button and it does the exact same thing as the remote. So we're going to go back into creative here, and I'm going to give a quick tour. So down here you can see this somewhat mess of pneumatic tubes here. This is just a quick and dirty sorting system. 2 transposers. This filter will allow soul sand and wither skulls to go into the input chest over there. This transposer is a restriction tube. Anything that didn't meet any of the filters criteria will go out here. Here's another filter which filters out that remote and puts it back in this dispenser from whence it came. And I think I've actually lost a few of them because a lot of times when you get killed by the wither, you just die terribly. And this here is It's just some GPS. These are some computers with GPS. This is an MFFS defense station set to kill mobs within 12 blocks of itself. This is triggered for about a full second in the wither ending cycle. So you can hit the panic button and get out of there. You lose your parts for the wither, but you keep your life. This here is an MFFS projector that creates the shield, and all of this is connected to this advanced computer here. It doesn't really need to be an advanced computer. I had thought about running a color monitor off of it, but I realized that in the current version, ComputerCraft's built-in network cables don't exist, so I can't just run it up there. So here's another computer. This is the only computer that Control-T in this system will work on. It will not work on this, it will not work on this. They all use full event raw, so Control-T's event just gets sunk. This here is the only computer that you can actually do that to, and all it is it's just controlling that monitor. This bus transceiver basically allows us to say that this computer cannot affect this line. Signals only go up through this bus transceiver and not down. If I were to apply a redstone signal on this side and take this one off, it would go the other way around. It's just a quick safety so that if someone does manage to mess with this computer, they can't, mess with this one, which is actually controlling everything. This turtle here, as you can see, there's a lot of invalid messages. This has to do with, for some reason, I'm getting modem message events on the channel I haven't subscribed to, so I think somebody might be playing with it, but the messages are designed they're designed such that they have to be within a certain amount of time. They can't be played back because they contain an SHA-1 hash of the entire message plus a random salt that I have that these share. So the messages can be verified and can't be played back and cannot be created except by this machine unless the salt is known. For that reason, if I do paste in this code, I'm going to remove that salt because otherwise this turtle could be instructed to build a wither when the force field is not activating. Now, this here is of the two admin things that are in this. This is an MFFS converter connected to an infinite capacitor over there. The capacitor is made infinite by putting a special item from MFFS in it called the infinite power card. This just powers some of the admin machines in the Nexus, namely the bit that keeps us safe from the wisps. That I think there must be another dark node around here somewhere. Thought I got them all. Now, back to that. This here is an interactive storage for miscellaneous peripherals. It's basically a computer-controlled sorter. I can say, look in the chest. I essentially say, look in the chest. There's a loop that runs every few seconds. You notice the state of the machine right now is insert items, which, of course, I'm just going to pop that. The state of the machine right now is insert items. This monitor will be made cooler later. Every so often, I believe it's every 3 seconds, the computer will tell this to list out what's in here, and if it finds 4 soul sand or more, or 3 wither skulls or more, it'll go into it'll pass the proper number to build the wither to this turtle, not kick this turtle teleporter. She'll teleport the turtle over there. Turtle will come out and build the wither, except for the last head, and sit there. Then the machine will change to the ready state. Then when the remote's triggered, this thing will build it, and then the computer has an internal timer that will count either 3 seconds or when this turtle acknowledges the commit command. It means that if the turtle for some reason doesn't acknowledge the commit, there's not going to be a wither that can get out of the force field. As soon as this thing crosses outside of the boundary of the force field, when it gets back up against this wall here, it acknowledges the command from the computer, force field rises. There's a 3-second timeout in case the turtle doesn't, for some reason make that commit, and I'd rather trap the turtle than release the wither. This is how we're charging the turtle here. This is an advanced charge station. It simply just charges the turtle off of EU, and this is an MFFS infinite EU source. This is a little bit better than the infinite coal gen that I had over here earlier, which a certain player rated. These computers here are the core of the Nexus's GPS system. These are the only ones that know their position. This one down here is just an extra one for various reasons, and these are just some just extras, because when this turtle goes to build the wither, it checks its position using GPS. You'll see there's a location error from when I was adjusting things in the system. It will not build the wither if it doesn't know where it's supposed to be. See, all these invalid messages are things that got messy. So it got prepare again, because I was having issues with, I forgot to turn the turtle on when it was supposed to go, and it got teleported over there because computer triggers the teleporter, but it was a little messy and I had to manually teleport it back. These green lines here just go up to these red lamps. They're on whenever the wither could possibly exist in here. This pink line triggers that dispenser you saw earlier that just contains these remotes. And this bit of red power just sorts things. It's actually overall fairly simple. The thing that was the most catch is the way that these things handle redstone. So I actually cannot show you that without... oh, I forgot about this. This part of the Nexus doesn't have a roof on it yet, so I really didn't have to punch that hole there. I need a startup disk, and I need a... I guess I gotta cheat that in. I probably broke mine. So I got a disk drive, and then a CraftOS startup disk. This is literally just a floppy drive with an empty startup file on it. And then when I Control R reboot this machine, as you can see, we're at the CraftOS prompt here, because the startup disk ran. So if I take a look at Wither, now, there's a few functions in here that I've used. The one that's most useful is around here somewhere. These are not really in any order. Set bundled line. What set bundled line does is, if you've ever dealt with a bundled redstone, you have to, add the colors together and everything and blah. This simply does that for you. It uses binary bitwise operations to allow you to change what the current output is one line at a time. So first it gets what the current output is, and this should really be a local OL. So if the value we were passed is true, we're going to set the output. And the new output's going to be the binary OR of that value and then that line. And if we're saying not, we have to do an AND of that value and then a NOT of whatever line we're changing. And then finally, we just set the output. RS is a global variable that contains the side the redstone bundled cable's on, just so that if I change it, I don't have to go and recode everything. This here is a little function that just waits for the remote to send a signal. It waits for the remote to go on, and it waits for the remote to go off. I apparently have get bundled input as well. It does pretty much the same thing, with the exception that it checks a specific line for input. Oh wait, no. Get bundled in is what's a built-in function. I'm just doing a binary AND with it, with the color in question, which is in the variable RS remote. This AND will return non-zero, or in this case greater than 0, if the line is triggered, 0 if not. Prepare turtle simply tells the soldier to pull from the input 88, which is soul sand, into the turtle, and 4 of them. And then we do the same for wither skulls. We wait a few seconds for the turtle to do stuff. We wait like 0.3 seconds, teleport the turtle, we'll wait a little more, and then we tells my turtle, with clear text prepare, which I'll show the crypto algorithm. It's very simple. Oh, and then true means block the program until the turtle responds. So let's find tell turtle. Let's find tell pawn. These programs, this is not very clean. Okay, here's tell pawn. So local R channel, this is the channel that the turtle will reply on. It's just set as a local here for sanity's sake. When we transmit, this is the port the turtle is listening on. You can tell R channel. And then form message. Form message creates a message which is in the format that I'm using. And if we're not blocking, then just end, because we don't need to listen for a reply. But if we are listening for a reply, open it. Keep getting events until the event is modem message. Once the event is modem message, if it was true, return true. If it wasn't true, return false. And then exit. Now, this is a mess of ifs. For message, it's really simple. Output is equal to the current time, a pipe, the current date, these are Minecraft time and date, another pipe, and then the message, and then another pipe. And now what we're going to do is we're going to append that with the SHA1 sum of itself plus a salt. Now, the salt is basically a cryptographically shared secret. So if I exit here and I remove this disk drive here and I reboot this computer and I go over to this turtle, see, now this thing's running the main Wither program, and I drop the floppy disk in here. I go over to the turtle and reboot it now. And I misspell it, edit. Now there's a few functions. We have has expired. This just checks to see if the message is in one Minecraft hour, which is one real-time minute of the time it was sent. Otherwise, it rejects it. Interpret. It simply says if the message it puts the message in this table for a later. It creates a blank table for the message, and then if we didn't get one, just say it's invalid. Fine. If it's not got pipes, it's invalid. Now we separate it on pipes. This is SAPI is a string API for Lua. And then we check to make sure we got at least 4. Then we're saying, well, if time and date are expired, return invalid. And if the computed hash, we compute what the hash should be, and we see what the given hash is. If they aren't the same, return invalid again. Now you may notice there's quotes missing. I actually have a string variable called invalid that contains invalid because I made that mistake too many times. Prints out to the display what message it's got, and then returns it. Acknowledge simply transmits on the return channel, which is this table type because they're mutable and it gets changed whenever we receive a message to whatever the reply channel was specified. So essentially, acknowledge and negative acknowledge. Prepare, error quickly checks positions and then runs this string of instructions, which basically builds everything with the exception of the very top head of a wither. Commit places that top head of the wither, or backs out of the force field area, acknowledges, and then turns around. On acknowledge, the computer will create the field. The main simply forever pull raw events. If the event's a modem message, then process it, run it through that interpret program. If it's refuel, run refuel all. Since it's not running call anymore, that's not necessary. Prepare runs prepare, commit runs commit, else is just unhandled, and we just negative acknowledge all those. And then I tend, when I'm working on programs, to leave one of these at the bottom. I'm just commenting it out now, but it means that when the program's done all its functions, you can call them normally, just from the Lua prompt. That way, it's easier to debug things. So if we restart the turtle, and everything's up, this computer up here is just running a very simple, and this is the only one I don't have to use the boot disk on to get out of here. It's really fairly simple. It's got just a very simple function that returns a text and a color for the different states that are possible, and they're signaled through the redstone lines. Get signal just simply takes that one signal for those green lines and converts it back into just a number 1 through 4. 0 through 4. It's 3 binary lines. Technically, it will convert it to anything that could be supported by that. Then forever, we don't really need to have that in forever. Oh well. Clear the screen, write out the cursor, write out, cool info here soon, next line, state, raw signal, and then that message. This is eventually going to be put here, and then we're just going to normally pull a redstone event. So we're just going to sit there until something here changes. And another nice feature of these bus transceivers is that you can look at them, and you'll see what the states of the different lines are. These may get paste spin. If people pester me enough to paste spin, I guess I'll go strip out that seed, but I guess I kind of probably flashed it in the video, and someone who really cared could, strip out the seed and work on duplicating all that work that I did. Of course, then I can just change the seed. You'd actually have to write another program very similar to my telepond routine that would just... It would have to send the exact same message to the exact same turtle. Otherwise it wouldn't work. So I'm going to fix this hole I left. I'm going to try to fix this hole I left. Why can I not fix this hole I left? There. And this all hides under the Nexus in the Not Another Craft Feed the Beast server. Hopefully I'll have some nice info here. Annoyingly, I don't have a way to detect if someone actually killed the Wither or if the Wither killed them when we stop off. So I could maybe have it count the number of Wither battles till server restart. To keep it. Otherwise, I'd have to actually store it in a file, which wouldn't be too bad. Another thing that I do that you guys might find useful to do when you're dealing with Lua and stuff like that is that paste bin, that built-in paste bin system. And I guess I'm gonna do this again so I can show you what I mean. I've got a very simple program in here. I have a paste bin account which allows me to edit my own paste. So what I'm gonna do here is, if we take a look at this little snippet, it's just called update. It removes the Wither program and then gets from a specific paste that I own, that I can edit, that Wither program. So I just edited it on Pastebin, run update, and it's edited. And it's an incredibly simple trick. I'm also debating just putting a music disc in here and having some nice battle music. Thought it might be interesting to do. Now that I have that side free. Earlier there was an electronic signal controller from Railcraft, and there were some distant signals up here. But I had real problems with the distant signals losing their pairing on server restart. And I'm having that same problem with these turtles on server restart, where these turtle teleports, they'll lose their pairing, and every time the server gets started, I have to go in and basically redo it. Now, that's just, I haven't 100% figured out why that happens. I just know that it does. But that's pretty much it for the Not Another Craft Wither Battle Arena. And one thing I'm going to mention, I did not intend to make a Wither farm. Wither farms are lame, but it would be incredibly easy to turn this into a Wither farm. All one would have to do is add an upgrade to this Wither projector here. You'd have to add a single mob defense upgrade. An NPC defense. And I don't think they're that expensive. Well, there's a Tesla coil in there, which is kind of expensive, but it's not super bad. So you could turn this into a Wither farm fairly easily. All this can be built in survival with the exception of there is an infinite EU, so there's an infinite force energy source. So all you'd really have to do before is make sure you have enough force energy to run the projector for a Wither battle before bad things happen. Annoyingly, I don't know of a way to check and see if a force field's running besides have a turtle try to go down through it. And I guess... No, aerial faith plates. Have a turtle try to go down through it, and then if it succeeds, just kill the Wither. Kill it now. Kill it with fire. Of course, that wouldn't work if you were out of force energy. But The system also, if you load it up with excess wither parts, it should cycle right back into the ready state. Which means a wither built up here with one of the heads not there, ready, and the remote dispensed. There's just a dispenser hidden under here you probably saw. And I guess that's about it. Hopefully this didn't turn out being too long. See you around, YouTube.